Hey everybody, welcome to my tour of my zoo in Zoo Resort 3DS. You may know this game, and some you may know, you don't. But Zoo Resort 3DS is a game where you manage your own zoo of over 100 animals. And now, let's start with our first animal on the tour. The first animal on our tour today is the spotted seal. Let's go spot our spotted seal. Let's see, where is he? Oh hey, there he is. He's right over here. Oh, turning back right there. But by the way, these guys are considered true seals with small bodies, rounded heads, and short flippers. The coats on the adults have dark spots of light gray to silver. As pups, they're pure white, and they form seasonal family groups and prefer open oceans. And in the wild, they can be found in areas around the North Pacific Ocean, from Alaska's coast to the Barents Sea, and to the Sea of Okhotsk, Yellow Sea, Sea of Japan, and Bohai Sea. They can also be found as far to the north as the Arctic Ocean, to the west to about 170 degrees east, as well as eastward to Canada and the Mackenzie River Delta. They inhabit the southern edge of pack ice from winter until early summer, and they move on to close areas like river mouths for late summer and autumn. They usually haul and breed on the ice, but sometimes come ashore on sandbars and beaches, as some sites along the coast of Asia to breed in small remote islands. Anyway, isn't he cute? Look at him. Oh, my bad. Let's go feed our seal friend here. So these guys are carnivores, or should we say piscivores. That means they're animals that eat fish. These guys in the wild eat mainly fish, especially herring, pollock, capelin, and cod, as well as mollusks and crustaceans. At our zoo, we feed them fresh fish. Let's go see their animation and tell fun facts. So these guys are called by the Alaskan names Kasquak, Insurak, Kazakak, and Insuri. They were once believed to be the same as the harbor seal subspecies, and their ranges do overlap, and there has been some inbreeding. Let's go close up right here, and see him resting over there? And these guys are the only seals that breed in China, and in the summer they use the coastal haulouts, the reason being so they can be warmed by the sun, this is what they're doing right now. Let's see, hauling there on the rock. And their pups take a longer time than other ice seal species to learn how to swim and dive. Alright. Uh-oh. Rocky Mango is down. But maybe we'll take a trip to the Rocky Mountain Goats exhibit in the future. But for now, let's get to the other animals. The next animal I wanted to show you is the Ring-tailed Lemur, Lemur cata. And you know what I want to do. And I know some of you may know a lemur. His name is King Julian. I'll do an impersonation of him. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. See, hey, look at me. Look at me crawling around. Hey, look at me, Maurice. Look, I am a handsome lemur. Yes, King Julian, you most certainly are a handsome lemur. Now, in fact, these guys are the most intelligent primates on the island. And these guys are one of the 150 species of lemurs that live on the island of Madagascar, which is an island off the coast of Africa. Off the east coast of Africa, to be more precise. There's one up there. See? And they're easily recognizable by their extremely long, heavy fur tails covered with black and white rings. And they allow them to take long leaps from moving between the trees. They're one of the most terrestrial, and like I said, one of the most intelligent primates in the island. And they're of high scientific interest due to their use of tools in daily life, as well as excellent problem-solving skills. Oh yeah, and their name implies these guys have ring-tails. Didn't I say that earlier? Anyways, let's go feed them. Oh yeah, by the way, these guys live in the tropical dry forests, deserts, and scarce shrublands, and tropical moist forests of Madagascar. Well, by the way, their natural range occupies south and southwest Madagascar. Their scattered populations are found from Telangano in the southeast to Morondavo on the west coast and Abalava inland. So by the way, let's go feed these lemurs. Here it goes. So these guys are omnivores, which means they eat both plants and meat. These guys generally consume plants, leaves, flowers, nectar, fruit, sap, and bark, often supplementing their usual diet of insects, chameleons, and small birds. Oh, but at the zoo we feed them insects. See right here? See right here? Oh man. Now let's see their animation. Let's tell us some fun facts about ring-tailed lemurs. When they're sunbathing, they adopt a yoga-like posture, sitting in their haunches and stretching out their legs to warm up their upside. The typical sleeping position is the tail curled up to cover their backs and noses behind their hind legs. When defending their mating rights, the males engage in so-called stink fights, during which they smear scent on their tails at their rivals. The most suspicious feature... Oh, let's go follow the lemur. Let's follow the lemur. A little leaping lemur who liked to bounce and play. Man, that's a boomerfoo. But the boomerfoo is a different type of lemur called the cockerel sifak, which was once thought to be a subspecies of Roxas. But they're a separate species now. Oh, by the way, about their most suspicious feature, it's their long, heavy furred tails are covered with 26 black and white alternating rings, the first one of which is always white and the last one being black. And the newborns exhibit blue eyes, eventually changing color as they grow up. And they have a good grip to their opposable thumbs, resembling those of humans, as well as lever-like palms on their feet. And they're amazingly clean creatures, always grooming themselves after feeding. So-called dental combs at the comb-like row of teeth, helping groom themselves. Because some long claws and second toes are hind feet as a grooming tool. Sorry about that. I was so caught up on ring-tailed lemur fun facts, I had to stop. By the way, let's get to our next feature here. Our next feature today is the cougar. Let's see. And here he is, right here. There he is. So these guys are a type of cat, large and slender, with a short coarse coat. Oh, let's go follow him. Oh yeah. Other than man, these guys have so many names than any other mammal. And they go by many names. Mountain lion, catamount, puma, panther, you name it. And ever them humans, they have the greatest natural distribution of any terrestrial mammal in the Western Hemisphere. And they're powerfully built and extremely exile cats. Oh yeah. And there are also many kinds or subspecies of puma as well, like the Florida panther, an endangered subspecies of cougar that lives in Florida. There's the eastern cougar, also the mountain lion as well. Let's go feed them. I bet they're really hungry. Let's see. Oh yeah, and these guys are the greatest range of any large wild terrestrial mammal in the Western Hemisphere, from Canadian Yukon for the US, Central and South America to the southern tip of Chile. So by the way, let's go feed them. So these guys are carnivores, and they mainly eat large mammals like deer, also eat coyotes, beavers, porcupine, mice, marmots, raccoons, hares, birds, and sometimes grasshoppers. And they'll even prey on domestic livestock like poultry, sheep, calves, goats, and pigs. I bet he's having a fun time though with the meat. Meanwhile, while we're at it, seeing its animation. Let's go see its animation. Oh my god. Oh my god, that thing was... The cougar was yawning earlier. I should have saw that coming. Alright. Alright. These guys usually eat only once or twice in a week. They don't roar like lions do, which actually they're not part of the big cat family, but they're actually in the small cat family like cheetahs and lynx, and even your domestic cat is in the same family as the cougar. But they do make sounds, much like a human scream, even like a woman screaming. If they can't finish eating their kill in one go, they hide up beneath bushes or under leaves and return later. And they're one of North America's second largest cat, with an M-shaped pad on their feet, 3 lobes in the heels. You know that? Alright, enough with the cougar. Let's head in for our next animal. Which is, by the way, the horse. You know, horse of course. Oh man. Here it is, the horse. Look at these beauties. Now, the domestic horse can be found almost anywhere in the world except Antarctica. And these guys have been tamed by humans for thousands of years. Oh. He's trotting around. Here's one in the stall. Hey guys, guess what? I have the horses in the back. Oh yeah. And these guys had evolved over the past 45 to 55 million years from a small little mammal called Eohippus. And these guys were probably believed to have been domesticated by 3000 BC. And it most likely took place in Central Asia prior to 3500 BC. And these guys have been used for thousands of years for hold on a second. Oh yeah, and these guys have been used to be lifting loads. And heck, even before... these guys... After the car was made, they used horses, technically. They're great at keeping down weeds, make wonderful companions for herd animals. Also, their droppings provide excellent soil enrichment and food for chickens. And they're surprisingly effective distant warning systems. And Also, people used to try their milk. Disgusting though. But now we keep them as pets. Pets, ride them, and heck, even police use them. And you want to guess how many breeds of horses there are? Well, let me tell you. Well, there are over... So there are over 355 breeds of horses. You know that? And there's also the Przewalski's wild horse, which we don't see here. Let's go feed them. So horses are herbivores, which means they eat plants. Let's go feed them some hay. I got some freshly baled hay here. Let's go see the animation. Oh yeah, did you know that horses have both monocular and monocular vision? That means they both see in the fronts and in the sides. Which is probably why it's not a good idea to stand near or behind a horse. It may kick you in the end. Let's see. Go up. Oh yeah, you shook the Bactrian camel. Let's go pay him a visit. Alright. So there are two types of Bactrian camel in the world. There's the wild Bactrian camel and the domestic Bactrian camel. This one here is the Bactrian camel. These guys are native to the steppes of Central Asia. And you can tell they're Bactrians because look closely at the humps right here. Which these guys have too. Which kind of look like a B shape, which is how you can tell the two species of camels apart. If it has a B-shaped hump, it's a Bactrian camel. A D-shaped hump, a dromedary. Oh, let's go see the other one. Raising in the distance. Alright, let's go feed this camel. So camels are herbivores and eat plants that are prickly, dry, salty, or bitter. But they like any kind of vegetation, you know. If other food's unavailable, they may eat bones, other animals' skins, and different kinds of flesh. And they may eat sandals, ropes, and even tents in more extreme conditions. See them feed. Onya are believed to have been domesticated in southwestern Turkestan, northeast Afghanistan, sometime before 2500 BCE. Let's see the animation and tell some fun facts about the Bactrian camel. Bactria, where their distinctive name comes from, was an ancient country where northeastern Iran is now. To be able to withstand sandstorms, they enclose their nostrils, and they have long eyelashes to keep sand out of their eyes, bushy eyebrows, and thick hair on the inside of their ears. They have featured in our work throughout history. For example, West Foreigners who came from the Taran Basin and other places were depicted in many ceramic figurines of the Chinese Tang Dynasty, and they hardly ever sweat, and that enables them to conserve water. The two wide toes on each of their feet have undivided soles, which can spread widely, being adapted to walking on sand. Onya, and it has served as a pack animal in Eurasia since ancient times. With a tolerance for cold, drought, and high altitudes, they've been able to travel caravans on the Silk Road. And a number of feral ones still roam the Mangsal province of southwest Pakistan and the Numba Valley, India. And there's also the wild Bactrian camel, which unfortunately is critically endangered due to hunting for their meat and inbreeding with domestic Bactrian camels. And these guys live in the steppes of Mongolia and China. Alright, but enough about the Bactrian camels. Let's move on to our next, maybe our final animal for today. Maybe we'll look at two more animals. and then we're done. So the next animal we have here is the bongo. So here we are in the bongo exhibit. Let's see. Now there are two kinds of bongos in the world: the lowland bongo and the eastern bongo. I used to take pictures of them while I'm at it. Yeah, lowland bongo. Alright. Either lowland bongo. Yeah. I got it. Now these guys are the largest and heaviest forest antelopes. These are near threatened, and they are only found in the rainforest of dense undergrowth across tropical Africa. Beautiful antelope, aren't they? Let's go feed them. Oh yeah, and these guys are herbivores, in which their herbivorous browsers feed on leaves, bushes, vines, bark, grasses, roots, cereals, shrubs, flowers, and fruit. They also require a soul in their diet, as a natural salt mineral licks during the night. Let's see their animation. And they communicate means of various calls, between mews, grunts, snorts, and bleating, as warning signs or as distress calls. I found it here. Oh yeah, although between dusk and dawn is really the most active period, they sometimes browse during the day, or they never depart from the dense vegetation surrounding them. To help cool them down when they're hot, they wallow in mud and then rub the mud into a tree to polish their smooth, heavy horns. Many people have the belief that if they touch or eat bongo, they'll suffer from spasms like epileptic seizures. As a result, ones that are in range have been barely unharmed. They sometimes eat burned wood when lightning storms occur, which is probably why getting solar minerals. They're excellent jumpers, but wherever go around on their obstacles. And the only type of Tragopelus which both the males and females have horns. And the name bongo doesn't come from the drums of the same name, but it's an African tribal word that probably means antelope. Alright, we have enough of the bongos for today. Let's pay our visit to our last animal, the critically endangered Scimitar-horned Oryx. So these guys are elegant, graceful antelopes, once widespread across North Africa. Oh, we'll have a picture of two of them. Right? Perfect. And they went extinct in the wild in 2000, almost white with red-brown chests and black marks and down the length of their nose. Their white coat helps reflect the heat of the desert, and the horns are so thin that they can break easily. with large spreading hooves which are well adapted for walking on the sand in their dry habitats, which in fact were once widespread in North America, and today are bred in captivity in special reserves in Tunisia, Morocco, and Senegal, and on private exotic animal ranches in the Texas Hill Country. Due to a reintroduction program that was launched in 2016, currently, a small herd has been successfully introduced in Chad, in the grassy steppes, semi-deserts, and deserts. Alright, let's go feed them. Let's go feed... Oh, my bad. But at least we get to see the animation, though. But we'll tell about the fun facts later. Let's go feed them. So these guys are herbivorous animals, and they feed on foliage, grass, herbs, shrubs, succulent plants, legumes, juicy roots, buds, and fruit. And they can survive high water for long periods of time as they get water from the water-rich plants in which they feed on. Alright, now we're going to tell some fun facts about the Scimitar-horned Oryx. And their name for their horns, which resemble scimitars. And their coat reflects the sun's rays, while the back portions and the tip of the tongue provide protection against sunburn. To survive in the desert heat, they can allow their body temperature to rise almost 46.5 degrees Celsius. This way they can conserve water and thrive in the desert. They can tolerate high temperatures that would be lethal to most mammals. They have a neck with fine blood vessels that carry blood from the heat, from the heart to the brain, passing close to the nasal passage. This way, the blood cools up almost by up to 3 degrees Celsius before reaching the brain, which is one of the most heat-sensitive organs of the body. And they can survive without water for 9 to 10 months because their kidneys prevent water loss from the urination, which is an adaptation to desert habitats. The myth of the one-horned unicorn may have originated from sightings of injured Scimitar-horned Oryx. Aristotle and Pliny the Elder held that the oryx was the unicorn's prototype. From certain angles, they may seem to have one horn rather than two, and the horns are made from hollow bone that can't be regrown. If they were to lose one of their horns, for the rest of their life, they would only have one. And hey, let's take one more photo of the oryx. The closest thing to a unicorn. Very beautiful. Alright. Thank you so much for joining the tour today. Next time, we'll visit animals like the Somali wild ass, the gemsbok, the meerkat, and many more. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have a marvelous day.